Alright, let's pump out this trade recap. Didn't take any trades just because nothing came up. I'll put this at 5 o'clock, but then also another one at 6 o'clock. So I was looking at NAS primarily, and the bias was really hard. I was firstly I had a bearish short-term bias with a bullish long-term bias. On the 5 price is bearish. Yeah. So I had a bearish, because on these hourlies in the 4 hour, I saw this fair value gap, this hourly fair value gap above, which does get inverse, but then actually, because it gets inverse, and logically, when all these candles come up here and fill it, it's filled, so it's inverse, but on the hourly, it's tapped and respected bearish, so it's really like, it's not sigma at all. So I was bullish on the overall, but then on the actual London session for the actual trades, I was looking for shorts because just before we had equal lows formed. Hey, fuck, was I looking for shorts? Yeah, could be. Yeah, ES also. Yeah, I'm thinking bearish bias. And then it kind of changed as the session went on. This session was fucking confusing because no actual liquidity points got swept. I'm gonna be real. At 5 o'clock, we can see this top point that gets swept gets ran through, right? Hold on, let me change that to liquidity. But throughout this whole session, nothing gets swept apart from at the bottom here. And I was on a bearish bias, which was not wrong. Wait. Yes, it was fine because look, during session, price did come very bearish. And then I was literally saying it'll sweep these lows, these equal lows here, plus this is a good point. And then it will turn bullish for New York and for the coming day to come out, potentially get these highs and whatnot. And because price still hadn't tapped this higher time frame order block here, which was like 15-minute or hourly or something, this order block. So when price came up, I was like, oh, that's because I was. But when it inversed this fair value gap, I was bullish, right? I changed to bullish because it's been inverse. So I was like, oh, if it sweeps bottom side here, it could be good. But then it's also really confusing because this is kind of respect to the fair value gap because it's been fully moved. But because it's been fully moved on, all the orders here are fucking used up. So at this point, it's inversed. So that's it. So it is a bullish bias. And I'm pretty sure price will continue bullish, potentially through New York. That's what I'm going to check tomorrow. But it's also like, so because I was slightly, fuck, it's like I was bearish here, let's say, but then it inversed this fair value gap. That got inversed, but then also this gets inversed, but after a multitude of candles. And this isn't even that good of a sweep, but let's count it because, okay, it's still a sweep. But then breaker structure doesn't occur till this order block. Yeah, this order block down here, which is this candle. And by then, there's no entries. Full stop. It's like fucking down here on like, yeah, this candle here. And by then, it's just run away. So then I kind of had, then it swept bottom side really well with this really strong price action here. And then there was a tiny breaker structure in here, which is fine. There was like a change in state of delivery, but there was no breaker structure in here. And then there was this 5 fair value gap, which I wanted to get inversed if it was going to be bullish. And initially it gets respected. So it was like, this shit was really just fuckery, you know? But I was pretty correct with the bias. Bearish through the session, and then later on it'll be bullish once it sweeps these strong lows, which it has done. But even from these bottoms, there wasn't really a good entry. Like, the breaker structure was kind of shitty. There were no 5-minute fair value gaps at the bottom for it to instantly inverse. There was just this fair value gap to inverse, and even then it kind of gets respected. Like, the fuck? And then the closest 5-minute fair value gap to get inverse is all of this shit, which does end up getting inverse, but by then price is fucking yonks gone. So let's say after the breaker structure, we're looking for bottom side fair value gaps. There wasn't one in here. There was a tiny one in here, which ends up just getting moved through because it's so small. And on the 1 minute, there was just this one here, but that occurred before the breaker structure and everything, so probably wouldn't hop in on that. But if you did, like, it's good, but it's only good because it was such a strong sweep of all these lows. Like, boom, equal lows, and then strong lows here, you know? That's the only reason it's just continued bullish. And there's like, there was no real entries. That's the fucking issue. Like, fucking fuck. Like, maybe there, but that's fucking 10 years after. Like, and preferably you want a 5-minute fair value gap like this one, which does end up getting tapped here. Let's say you're long off this shit. Stops just at the fair value gap and you shoot for the order block. That is actually a really good position right there. But by this time we were still in this fair value gap. But actually, this would be considered pretty much inversed or invalidated at this point here, because it's been respected at this point, and then by that point it only has like this much more, which then gets respected here. So then it's like there's only a tiny bit more imbalance above, and because it hasn't turned fully bearish on either of those respects, it will probably continue topside. That is kind of the only little analysis I can get from that. And as you can see, order block being a perfect position, once again, perfect TP. So sexy! But, of course, we want the 5-minute fair value gap here, you know. And then we want also an inverse of a 5-minute fair value gap on this side being inversed. And while that inverses, we want one created. And it didn't give either of those, which is really harder, you know. But looking at this again, I guess because it's such a strong sweep, if we just wait till we do have that imbalance created, that 5-minute fair value gap, and you wouldn't enter off of a 1 just because it's just too volatile for that. Like, as you can see, same shit here, halfway tap. It's nice, you know. So, and I guess you could say it's bullish because of how I explain these fair value gaps, and that is definitely a good way to think of prices being bullish because it makes fucking sense. But yeah, it was just a long time after the sweep, but it still would have been okay. Okay, that's something else to learn. Once, if it's still looking good, because we have breaker structure down there, and then we also get breaker structure here, but it's still bullish because it actually does break bearish here. Yeah, so it breaks bearish there, but then it re-breaks structure topside while it's respected the half of this fair value gap and is coming up to break structure again, and it's coming up to break structure, which shows it will be bullish from there. Okay, I can dig that. I can understand that. That would have been the position, I guess, at 8:35. By the time I was just like, fuck no, I'm not watching these charts. But that's it, actually. That's the bias was just really rickety today. Like, I was correct, Well, I will be when I check tomorrow and it's a bit more bullish, but like, damn, at least bullish up to these highs, I reckon. Because those are Asian highs, which I reckon will get swept during New York. But yeah, there's no entry here. Oh yeah, okay. Alright, I can see that. Let me go down to the one and check that shit. Yep. That's a position, alright. Alright, done for the night.